In the last lecture, we have discussed about the evaluation pattern and about the syllabus to be studied in this year under different heads. The fourth head under which the syllabus is to be studied is diseases and public health. Animal diseases, and public health. There are different types of diseases caused by different types of microorganisms in animals also, as the case is in case of human beings. The different types of microorganisms such as bacteria, virus, parasites, protozoa, fungus, they used to cause a disease condition in animals. So these different types of diseases, infectious diseases, contagious diseases, bacterial diseases, viral diseases, that we are going to study in the syllabus categorized under this particular head. And some of the diseases, they are having impact on the health of human beings. That is why this particular aspect is linked with public health also, because we are going to consume the different types of products which are obtained from animals. These are called as livestock products. That also we are going to study in our syllabus. So, if the animal is diseased, the product obtained from such animals, say milk is there, meat is there, eggs are there. Suppose a poultry bird or layer bird is suffering with bird flu. The meat and eggs, they may be able to transfer the disease in human beings and may harm the health of human beings also. That is why we are also going to cover this aspect, public health. The diseases which transfer from diseased animal to healthy human beings, they are called as zoonotic diseases. Zoonotic diseases. They transfer from diseased animal to healthy human being. So we are going to study different types of diseases and public health. While studying a disease, we are going to discuss the cause of disease. The disease is caused by bacteria or virus or parasite, protozoa or deficiency of any type of nutrient. That will be the cause of that particular disease. That we will be specifying. Then spread. If it is a contagious disease, for example, in today's day, this corona, it is a contagious disease. It is spreading through air or through direct or indirect contact. So there are some contagious diseases, in Marathi we call as samsargajanya rog. Alright. So these diseases, they spread either by direct contact of diseased animal or by indirect contact, means through infected, contaminated feed, water or other resources or sources. So that also we are going to study spread of the disease. Then symptoms. What are the different signs of that particular disease? Suppose the disease is affecting digestive system, then the symptoms will be either loss of appetite or there will be diarrhea or loose motions, and likewise if it is having an impact on the respiratory system, then there will be difficulty in respiration, coughing, nasal discharge is there. So depending upon the type of disease, there are different types of signs or symptoms which develop in the infected animal. That also we are going to study. Then the line of treatment. what is the specific treatment, what is the symptomatic treatment. In short, we are going to study. And lastly, prevention and control. Prevention means to prevent the occurrence of that particular disease. We are going to vaccinate the particular animal or that specific disease. For all the diseases, vaccine is not available, but for those it is available, it is being introduced. And control means to avoid the spread of disease. For example, in corona, we are avoiding the spread of disease by using mask. Okay, by washing our hands, by avoiding the crowdiness. So there are different measures which can be taken to avoid the spread of contagious diseases or to control the spread of contagious diseases. That we are going to study in the syllabus to be covered under the heading Animal Diseases and Public Health. Then the another head is poultry housing, feeding and management. In today's date, poultry farming, it is a profitable business and it is providing employment to rural youth. It is also able to provide sufficient quantity of nutrients to the poor people at a low cost in the form of eggs and meat. So, in the syllabus, specifically a separate chapter is there which is related with poultry farming, poultry housing, poultry feeding and poultry management. These terms you are aware with now. You are knowing housing, feeding and management. So, related with poultry, we are going to study the different types of aspects of poultry farming. Then, livestock products. The products which are obtained from animals are called as livestock products. The domestic animals which are reared, they are called as livestock. L-I-V, livestock. In Marathi we call it as Pashudhan. Okay. Livestock and the product obtained from such animals, they are called as livestock products. And different products which are called as livestock products are milk, meat, eggs, and so on. Wool is there, and different types of products are there which are used by the human beings. So we are going to study the different aspects of livestock products such as their nutritional value, what is the percentage of different types of nutrients in these particular products, the different nutrients such as proteins, carbohydrates, vitamins, minerals, their percentage may vary and it is called as nutritional value of that particular livestock product. So that we are going to study. Then the another aspect value added livestock products. In recent days, the livestock products, they are not consumed as it is. As it is means, as they are available in the market, they are cooked, they are being processed at household level traditionally, and when they are safe to consume, they are consumed by the human beings. But in today's date, marketing of livestock products is a business, and for that purpose these livestock products are processed in the industries, taking into consideration their nutritional value, availability of nutrients in the particular livestock product. They are being processed, and not only that, some of the products, either nutritional or non-nutritional, they are added from outside to the livestock products. Then they are processed and they are packaged and marketed. So when the nutritional value of a particular product, food product, is increased by adding a specific nutrient or non-nutrient product which is acceptable, which is not going to harm the health of consumers, it is called as value addition. Means increasing the nutritional value of that particular livestock product. So the products which are value added, upgraded as far as their nutritional status is concerned, they are called as value added livestock products. So that also we are going to study in the syllabus, which are the different types of value added products which are available in the market and how they are being processed. So these are the different heads under which the syllabus is covered, and that we are going to study this year. In short, we have discussed about these different heads. Now we will start with the first topic, housing for dairy animals. Housing for dairy animals. In this we are going to study objectives of housing, selection of site for a dairy farm, different systems of housing, merits and demerits or advantages and disadvantages of different housing systems. So we will start with the objectives. Objectives of housing. Housing is shelter. The animals are to be protected by providing the shelter. So why to provide shelter to the domestic animals? The wild animals, they are going to have in the nature their own shelter. It is not being provided by human beings. But the domestic animals, they are reared by the human beings. They are in contact with human beings and they are totally dependent on human beings for their livelihood. In return, they are giving the different types of products. So it is our duty to protect the animals and to provide shelter. So the first objective of providing housing to the dairy animals is protection from extreme environment. Extreme environment means when there is excess heat in the summer, when there is excess cold or very low environmental temperature in the winter, and when there is heavy rain in the rainy season. Under Indian conditions, there are three seasons: rainy, winter and summer. So the temperature and other environmental conditions, when they are extreme, we have to protect the animals from these extreme environmental conditions by providing shelter or house. If the animals are not protected from extreme environmental conditions, the energy of that particular animal will be used to adjust its body with the environmental conditions, and the production performance will be adversely affected. We are rearing the animals for getting the products, say milk, meat, eggs, and if the energy is diverted to maintain their own body, then the production performance will decrease. So to avoid that, we used to provide the housing or shelter to the animals. This is the first objective. The second one is protection from wild and stray animals. Some of the farms are located nearby the forests, say in Vidarbha region or in many of the regions where forest is nearby. Wild animals, they are searching their food in the nearby locality, and in today's date, when the animals are not available, the water is not available in the forest, the food is not available for the carnivorous animals particularly, they used to come outside the forest at night hours and search the food, and ultimately their best food is the domestic animals which are tied in a farm at an open place. They will not be able to defend themselves. The wild animals will attack them and kill them. To avoid this, housing is to be provided to the domestic animals. If the house is provided, the wild animals will not be able to destroy or kill our domestic animals. This is the threat from wild animals. Then another threat is there from stray animals, particularly stray dogs. The population of stray dogs is more in the urban area also and in the rural areas. So these stray animals, they are also going to attack the domestic animals. They may be able to transfer some of the diseases to the domestic animals such as rabies. So to protect our animals from wild animals and stray animals, we are going to provide them the shelter in the form of housing. So that is the second objective of providing housing. Then the third one is to provide comfort to the animals. When when an animal is having a particular specific space for its accommodation, say after coming from grazing at night hours, it will feel comfortable. It is protected from the extreme environment, it is protected here from the wild and stray animals, it is going to get the water on the spot, it is going to get the feed for overcoming the nutritional requirements. So, under such conditions, the animal will feel comfortable. And when the animal is comfortable, means it is free from stress. And when the individual is free from stress, its performance, particularly production performance, is boosted. It will increase. And when the production performance increases, we get more livestock products for marketing purpose, and our business also increases. It will be in profit, and that is why it is necessary to provide housing or shelter to the domestic animals. This is the third objective of providing housing to the dairy animals. Then the last one is it will be easy for us also, for the dairy manager and workers also, to carry out different management activities when the animal is available at a particular place, at a particular defined place. When the animal is available, you can go for vaccination, you can go for milking, you can go for grooming, you can go for carrying out different types of management activities comfortably. Alright, if the animal is not tied, if it is not available in the house, if it is grazing in the environment, then it will be difficult for us to carry out the different management activities. And as it is very easy in the housing system of animals, when the animals are in a particular place, the animals are to be provided with shelter. That is the fourth and last one objective of providing housing to the dairy animals, or providing shelter to the dairy animals. So these are the four objectives of housing of dairy animals. In the next lecture, we will study about the different parameters to be considered for selecting site or constructing the dairy farm. That we will study in the next lecture.